great years of Who from Fazlin and Giants. Welcome back to the Fazlin and Giants podcast. I'm Lee, and if you already know, if you followed the podcast, that I'm a massive fan of Doctor Who, and it's the 20th anniversary of Rose being broadcast back in 2005. So this is going to be celebrating Doctor Who from 2005 to 322 in 2025. I did something similar in 2023 where I talked about my experience, but I'm going to focus on some of the major hits, some of my personal stories, so there'll be a few anecdotes in it, and of course, lots of positivity. Disclaimer before I begin, some of the people or some of the topics that could be mentioned in this episode could indicate towards someone or someone that is problematic. So if people feel uncomfortable, please skip that segment. The good news is that I'm only just going to talk about the Doctor Who element, so I'll just say the element and then stop. So hopefully I won't go on too much, but if you want to skip that section, I'll put timestamps in the comment section below. So, and of course on the description as well. So don't worry, I've got it handled. So please skip if you feel a certain topic is right for you. Let's get started. Series 1 started it all off. Russell Davies had a plan and gathered his friends to bring back Doctor Who, and the team succeeded. They casted Christopher Eccleston and Billie as the leads. Behind the scenes wasn't fun, and I can't ignore that, but despite that, honestly, the series was a success, and thanks to the team, the show still exists to this day. A good start for the show. RTD pulled off a favourite storyline of mine, Satellite 5, still love this. The first Doctor Services kiss was a cool idea, but the significance kind of was ruined because of the behind-the-scenes antics, and unfortunately, it just takes it away. Next was the series that still my love for the show, and one of the people responsible was Mr. Popular of the fun himself, David Tennant, Billie, and that promo photo. David and Billie, legends. If you want to hear more about that, I will explain in a little surprise that is cooking in my head for next year. Oh, Lee, you tease. I am a bit of a tease here. Everything will become clear, and I think this will get some ideas into your head. This series has the fantastic Ood, I still love them. The return of the Simon in a different form, Cybus. Elizabeth Sladen returns as Sir James Smith. Elizabeth introduced me to Class Who thanks to her Rival Who appearance. We had icons like Pete Tyler, Jake Simmons, and of course the introduction of Torchwood. The icon, Kevin Tate, as I know. Oh, what a treat. What a treat. Time for an anecdote. Ooh, yes, I have thrown in little surprises in here. I watched the finale, Doomsday. This was the series 2 finale. In a pub, I thought I would have to wait till either Sunday or Friday when it was on BBC 3, which I did for a few episodes previously. I remember as a young kid at the time. Also, I watched it in the countryside, so it's a country pub, as my family used to say, in a cottage in the countryside sometimes. So it was, the TV was on, BBC on, and I just watched it from there. The off-season was so cool. I caught up on the Christmas invasion, and all these things also began. Now, I may not watch Torchwood, but I thought it deserved a mention. Surgeon Adventures as well, all loved by the fandom. Then in Series 3, despite a few difficulties with certain elements, Freeman Ashman made history as Martha Jones. I was so happy they were able to create a black family with the normal elements. They tackled divorce themes. There were some uncomfortable themes as well, hit or miss in my opinion. One of my favourite dark stories was in this series, and it took a risk, but I'm glad it paid off because I still think it's brilliant. The Master made a return and made his revival debut. Began being played by Derek Jacobi as Professor Yab before transforming into Johnson, who is well known in the fandom, and we always loved Derek as the Master as well. After appearance from Pop Princess Kylie Minogue as Astrid Pep, in Christmas 2007, Donna Noble was back in business in the 2008 season, and as usual, she was entertaining, but she also brought the more vulnerable side, which is what we like to see. Bernie Cribbins also made an impact as Beloved with which is a legend. Pete Capaldi and Karen Gillan would later join the show as part of the Scottish Diamonds, made guest appearance in the same year. Alex Kingston debuted as River Song, one of my personal favourites. Julian Beach made his first appearance as Davros and would become the main Davros actor. Woo! For the rest of the specials, we had a run-off of one of companions. David Morrissey, Michelle Ryan, Lindsay Duncan, and of course our beloved Bernard. The last two were the elders at the time, so it was great to see older people get their representation on screen. Everyone can be seen on the show, and the fact that there's multiple ways of doing it. Then Stephen Moffat took charge. Matt Smith, the youngest daughter, came along in 2010. Matt had a distinctive style. His daughter loved bow ties, and he would go on about it a lot and say they were cool. Would be a catchphrase his companions would tire. And of course, in River Song's case, very dangerously. Karen returned, become part of the Scottish Domination, which at that point had become a thing. Yes, Scottish Domination was a thing. She was Amy Pond, and she and her co-star Arthur Darvill would start a trend that only two other comebacks would match. River Song had one of the best comebacks as well. She was good, and she was so good. I still felt under the Moffat era properly, she was at her best. This score lasted till 2012. Don't forget that death was in 2011 when we were like, how are we going to get out of that? Oh, I don't know. The Doctor and River getting married. Oh, I still think that was a beautiful moment. My babies and all those mini-episodes. Honestly, I haven't checked the mini-episodes. Check them out because there's two that are just so hot and kind of tease a bit for the future. Another anecdote. So I was meant to come home from holiday on the day of issue of the Dark was aired, but unfortunately the ash cloud a few days earlier caused flights to be cancelled. So I was stuck in France with my family. So I watched the episode in France, and I had to miss a week of school, but I was back a week later. So I had to go on the most unique journey. Okay, I had to travel from south to north. I ended up getting the ferry the same day because I got the train to Paris, and then I got it to Calais, and yeah, it was a very odd journey, but I got home safely. It took 3 days. After the Pond dominance, we had Jenna Coleman's dominance. That's right. Time for one of my personal favourite companions of all time. Like her previous projects, she lasted quite a long time. Clara had a unique mystery in her first series, and it's okay to understand if people feel uncomfortable about the whole Huffle romance thing. It could have been less creepy, but that's just my opinion. Matt and Jen had chemistry, and it was the best, in my opinion, at the time. Sir John Hurt started the trend of additional doctors, and he was brilliant. David was back. Stephen took the first of many canonicity changes with John, and then an episode later, on his first appearance in the universe, Peter returned and took on the role of his favourite character of all time in the franchise, the Doctor himself. 2014 was extremely important as we saw the first Time Lord Legacy exchange in Mystery, with the Master now being the first character to change gender during regeneration. We don't see it at this point because we don't see regeneration. The Master Mystery is now played by Michelle Gomez. This would ease some positivity for female fans, which we will get to in a few minutes. Oh yes. Peter and Jenna had one of the most unusual storylines, but it paid off, and even though there were concerns, they did quite well, and there were hits like both of Jamie Matheson's episodes were good. And one of them was, of course, The Orient Express, and that was paid off from the mention back in The Big Bang. One of my favourite writers on the show is Jamie. 2050 saw the glory days of the Doctor and Clara, mostly 2 parts, culminating in a 3-part story finale, which I love so much. And the last episode saw the first visible gender swap in regeneration from Ken Bums to Tanemia to General. Yes, finally, we're getting somewhere, but we're getting to the big bit. Hold on, friends. Plus, Peter, Stephen, and director Rachel Taylor were responsible for one of my favourite stories of all time, Heaven's End, as they took a risk and that paid off. Alex returned in one of the most iconic stories and sold her performance in the long-awaited room scene with Peter, and I still think it's a beautiful scene to stay, and I still think it's one of the best scenes out in Doctor Who. Chris Chibnall was announced as Stephen's replacement in 2016. Same year, Peter crossed over into a new spin-off class, a new spin-off that only lasted 1 series. It did include representation, but it deserved so much better. The cast were great, they deserve way better. Pearl Mackie made history in 2017 as the first gay companion, which also started some brilliant trends. She is the first black companion since 2007, when Freema was Martha Jones. Speaking of history, the same year, Jodie Whittaker made history as the first female Doctor Queen. They finally took the risk, and honestly, I couldn't thank a better actress to play the role because she was iconic. Alongside her, she had comedian Brady Walsh, Holyoke stars, Tosin Cole and Monique Gill. Mandy would join Karen, Arthur and Jen as the only rival who came to do 3 series consecutively, and the only one to do it within 3 full seasons. Well done, Mandy. Yay! 2018 was all about the newness, but after the Dalek story in 2019, which I still think is a hit, 2020 saw the biggest risk Doctor Who took, and it's still in play right now and could be. The Doctor was revealed to be the timeless child and was treated unfairly by the absolute joke of Tecton. Yes, I'm still giving burns to horrible characters who deserve it, and Tecton is a brilliant villain. Sashi Down made history as the first Asian Master the same year, and so did Joe Martin as the first Black Doctor. But there is something I will clarify in a few minutes, as there's a bit of confusion on to who is the first Black Doctor, and it can be done in many ways. John Bishop joined the show as Dan Lewis in 2021, as he replaced Graham and Ryan, who left on their own terms, and for once they didn't overuse the Moffat move, and I'm so happy that the companions survived intact. I am a bit hit or miss on the Moffat exit, but that's just me. Dan was more Yaz's companion, as they were often seen together. In 2022, there was a double Doctor announcement. Jodie announced she was leaving in 2021 alongside Chip, but Russell was announced to return as showrunner. So in 2022, David returned as a new Doctor, and Shigeru became the first regular Black Doctor. After the departure of Jodie, Mandy and John, Catherine will succeed him for the 60th anniversary, and Millie Gibson would take the permanent companion role from the Church and Ruby Road. Phasmin became canon in 2022, and I still love it, as there were some fantastic scenes like the beach, the scene when 13 realised her time was up. It's so sad and it's just so beautiful. It is just the beauty of this era. The centenary episode was a celebration to all Doctor Who, including William Russell making a cameo as Ian Chesterton. Bonnie Langford would make a cameo in The Power Doctor before having a recurring role from 2023 onwards. Bernard made his final appearance in The Wild Blue Yonder, and it was bittersweet, but it was absolute a fantastic tribute. 2023 celebrated the show with the 60th, while she and Millie joined the show properly and became one of my favourite RTG parents, and this will continue into 2024. Also succeeding were a few guest stars like Jinx Monsoon, who played Maestro, and Jonathan Groff, aka the legendary Rogue Joe Visser. Joy to World brought out star quality with Nicola Collin and Steph Wally in Stephen's best story since 2015. There was fantastic trans representation in Series 1, led by Yasmin Vinny. Final anecdote, because of Series 1 being released earlier, I would watch it before broadcast, mostly on a morning like I do with my Star Wars stuff, and on 2 occasions I watched it whilst I was in the car. The car, yes. This was for Dawn Bubble and Empire of Death. And the funny thing, when I watched Empire of Death in the car, I had to stop watching to help guide my family through Podgers as we were driving home, and I managed to get through it before resuming Doctor Who. I still feel the finale, like with the Vanquishers, is underrated. The upcoming team is Judy and Riley Stephen, who you may remember from Boom playing Monday Flynn. She are the first non-white TARS team, and all that jazz related. I talked about this in my minister, so if you want to hear more, link in the description down below. I'm ready for a new series, and for all the usual stuff like historical dominance, the Doctor being legend as usual, and more. I can't wait to see what Russell, she and Ryder have planned, because they're going to be brilliant. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Share your favourite Revival Who moments in the comment section down below. I'm looking forward to reading them, because I'm pretty sure we all have different ones, and I want us to have some positivity. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode as Doctor Who turns for a new series, and I'm going to do a preview. Plus, I'm going to put in a little twist as per usual. It's a Eurovision themed one, but not the one you're expecting. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Subscribe to Phasma and Jarins and stay tuned for more podcasts. See ya!